Hour to triumph over this enemy. So a team of local bush doctors performs rituals, hoping to defeat the lion's deadly magic. The next day, Fatuma Magela travels to visit her mother and father in the neighboring village of Kippo. Fatuma is in mourning. 15 months ago, she witnessed a badly scarred lion kill and eat her husband. Over dinner, they discussed the lion's latest attacks.
After supper, we talked for a while, then we went to sleep.
Silently, the man-eater of Rufiji leaps up their 3-meter wall and dives through the roof.
We were in a deep sleep, then I heard my mother screaming. My father was attacked when he tried to rescue my mother. When the lion saw that my father was fighting, it grabbed him by the throat and killed him. I did not cry. I knew that if I made a sound, we would all be taken.
Fatuma recognizes the beast. It's the same lion that killed her husband. Within seconds, her parents meet the same gruesome end. The man-eater of Rufiji has now killed 47 people. The locals trying to survive this threat flee across the river. Lions don't typically like to swim, but are perfectly willing to do so when there's food at stake. Days later, 2 elderly women become victims 48 and 49. Once again, Ranger Haji Makanguru is called to the scene. This time the trail is fresh. And before long, a mob of bloodthirsty locals joins the hunt. They beat a trail along the river, driving the lion towards the ranger. Haji is now the predator. In Botswana, Diana Tilden Davis struggles to stay alive. A ferocious hippo is attacking her crew, charging the boat again and again, and causing Diana to slide into striking distance. The animal lunges and snaps its huge teeth through Diana's calf. Then, a flare gunshot distracts the creature, and Diana scrambles to safety. Janice Simpson isn't so lucky. On her honeymoon, she suffers a dreadful hippo attack, and her body is left with devastating puncture wounds.
She had been bitten through the chest. She'd been bitten in the head, and she was just losing blood so quickly.
2 hippo attacks just days apart in the same African paradise. Something triggered this devastating rage. Why were both of these herd animals alone?
He was definitely trying to hide. Because he was quite big and it was quite shallow, he had made a little sort of wallow in the sand to get completely under the water.
The hippo must have been submerged and crouching in the water. So the water couldn't have been deeper than a couple more feet where the hippo was hiding. There's no ways it could have been there unless it was crouching.
Diana remembers another gruesome detail.
When he came for us, his mouth was open. Lots of cuts and gashes in his mouth. His ear had been chewed on and his face was all scarred and open. They were all fresh wounds.
Only another hippo could have inflicted this type of punishment. It's been relatively dry in the Okavango this season, forcing the hippos into close quarters.
I couldn't even begin to count them. It was one of the things that staggered me, was the density of the hippo population.
Higher concentrations trigger more fighting, and more fighting means more hippos on edge, ready to strike. Diana spent 2 years in rehab, but she doesn't hold a grudge.
I've seen the hippo twice since the incident. He was going through just as a traumatic time as I've been through. So our bond, I think, has grown from that.
Bruce Simpson hopes to return to the hippos one day.
One of my goals is to be able to go back and get as much pleasure as I did before out of spending time watching hippos and photographing them. In many respects, I feel like I have a link with them now.
A polar bear threatens the lives of Ola Vickman and Helmer Christiansen.
Helmer was already dead. I couldn't do anything for him.
Bleeding profusely and in shock, Ola staggers towards the boat, hoping the bear doesn't come back for more. He makes it back to town, and the police move in to retrieve Helmer's body. The bear is waiting, but it's no match for a high-powered rifle. Investigators search for clues as to why 2 bears attacked, seemingly unprovoked. Both were young, aggressive males. But another cause may be contributing to the attacks. Pollutants, including PCBs and pesticides like DDT, circulate through the atmosphere until they arrive near the North Pole. Here temperatures are too cold for the compounds to remain as vapors, so they condense and then drop into Arctic seas. The result is every living organism is eating contaminated food. These poisons have been known to mimic hormones, and the results can be devastating during adolescence. Inexperienced, chemically unbalanced male bears could attack anything, at any time. A male baboon has just killed Letty Tukana's 3-month-old daughter, Neo. Authorities are concerned the baboon will return, so they send marksmen to the village of Madipalesa. They search the area, but find no sign of him. Then 4 days later, he strikes again.
The baboon was found inside the compound. It had killed one of the goats. The owner of the cattle post saw the baboon running away with the hind quarter of a goat dripping with blood.
Again, the baboon is alone. And again, he escapes. Maybe the creature wasn't looking for a baby and confused Neo's cries with the bleating of a goat. Seven days later, rangers take down the dangerous baboon. He's old and missing teeth. This animal was probably an outcast, cut off from his troop and forced to fend for himself. Further south at Cape Point, another aggressive male baboon threatens Christine Coetzee's baby girl.
My biggest fear was just that he would, basically bite her in the neck and kill her. He then must have noticed the small backpack lying on the seat next to him, and he took the backpack and ran across the road. He literally unpacked everything and noticed that there was no food in it, and then discarded the backpack.
But this primate refuses to leave empty-handed.
I saw the baboon coming back to the car. I then closed the car door because what I wanted to prevent most of all was the baboon getting back into the car with my child. And I was basically standing with my back against the car door, and he was sitting in front of me. I didn't know whether to look at him or to not look at him. I didn't know whether I should back away, and the next moment the baboon ran up to me and bit into my lower arm. And as I whipped around, he sort of fell off. He grabbed hold of my other arm, and as soon as I got him off, I just ran for my door and got into the car as quickly as possible.
The troop of baboons on Cape Point is constantly fed by tourists, which makes them aggressive. Other troops on the peninsula invade neighborhoods. In a matter of minutes, homes are completely ransacked by these hungry primates. They're protected on the peninsula, but in the rest of the country, these monkeys are considered vermin. Ranger Haji Mokunguru has a man-eating lion in his sights. The marks on the lion's neck leave no doubt. This is the one who killed nearly 50 people.
The lion was brought around to all the villages to show people the lion was dead. Then the lion was taken back to the area where it was killed. After skinning the lion and removing the bones, the villagers cut the meat and ate it as a sign of revenge.
One of the largest cases of man-eating is finally over. But what turned this lion onto the taste of human flesh? His remains tell the story. The cat's left canine tooth is normal, perfectly vertical, but his right canine is damaged, broken, and tilted forwards. A big cat's teeth are his most prized possessions, but they're vulnerable weapons. The hooves of twisting zebra and buffalo can shatter teeth and jaws. And broken teeth are incredibly sensitive. Any pressure would cause the lion serious pain. Breaks also allow bacteria into the blood, which creates infection. So in the end, the man-eater of Rufiji adopted a less painful diet. Whether they're hungry, startled, or confused, nature's beasts can quickly become killers. We call them wild animals for a reason. Unfortunately, some of us